Maranatha, my PBC family and friends. Pastor Brian here with another quick bite, living the Word. Today our word is going to come from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 19 is where I'm choosing to take this from. There's several recordings of this. We entered yesterday in what we traditionally call the Passion of our Savior, or the Passion Week of Jesus. Passion simply meaning the suffering. The week before his crucifixion and the events that would take place in accordance to those things. Now, yesterday would have been traditionally what we would call, and of course there's not the exact timing of these things, but traditionally what we'd call Palm Sunday. The day that he made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, riding upon the colts, the foal of a donkey, and that's in of itself a very significant thing. It really showed his control over nature, because to ride on a donkey that had never been ridden or trained, and yet have it just ride for you without bucking around and trying to kick you off, is in of itself shows his nature. But and of course, we know that as he was doing that they were laying down palms in front of him and saying some very significant words. They said, "Blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest." What's interesting is they recognized, and now I don't know if they recognized exactly what they were saying here, but what's interesting is we recognize now, as they were saying that blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord, and then what? Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. In other words, this King who was coming was bringing peace again for us with heaven. So in other words, restoring us to heaven, restoring us with the ability to go to heaven. And that would have been what we represented yesterday. But today, what is traditionally spoken about for what he would have done. Now, in the midst of all this, of course, he stops on his way in from Bethpage and he weeps over Jerusalem. And we talked about that before, so we're not going to spend any time talking about that this morning. But he wept over Jerusalem and foretold the prophecy of what was going to happen in their lives. But then it says this. After that, or what traditionally happened on this Monday, if I can put it to you that way, is he goes into the temple again to cleanse it. And as he goes into the temple, it says in verse 45 of Luke chapter 19, and he went in to the temple and began to cast out them that sold therein and them that bought, saying unto them, It is written, My house is a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. Now I want to stop here for 1 second and really, this is actually we're going to stop at it altogether, but I want to talk about something and focus on some words here. Who did he cast out of the temple? We oftentimes think he only cast out, we only talk about how he cast out the money, the people who were the sellers, those who were selling things therein. But it actually says that he also tossed out those that bought. See, there's an obligation here for the individual to recognize and have a relationship with God such that they don't need to be fooled. They don't need to be tricked by those who might be in quote-unquote leadership. Because sometimes it says that it is written, My house is a house of prayer, and you have made it a den of thieves. It becomes a den of thieves from two different areas. And what I mean by that is this. It becomes a den of thieves from the leadership that would dare to fleece the sheep or take advantage of the people for their money. But it also becomes a den of thieves if somebody, because of their money, thinks that they can buy somehow some sort of favor with the leadership. So that's really what we have to remember as we think about these things. This is what he was cleansing. He's like, listen, you can't buy your way into heaven, nor can you sell heaven. I am the one purchasing heaven for you, and it is a free gift. That's what was so important about this cleansing of the temple. Now, of course, there was also the issues of them doing merchandising and taking advantage of things that way. But now really what I see the picture here being is he's really saying, listen, you can't sell heaven and you can't buy heaven. I'm kicking you both out who think you can do that. So why? Because it's so important we recognize that the only way to heaven was through that King. Blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. The King that comes in the name of the Lord. Why? To bring peace in heaven. Bring us back to that place where we can join into heaven with peace. And it's only by his grace that we enter. So as we begin this week, and we'll continue to look at the rest of this week together, just think on those things. Think on the importance of what Jesus was doing there and what he was saying. I hope this encourages you today, and I hope this challenges you today. I love you. We love you. God loves you. And God's got this.